Hello everybody, this is Simon with Let's Play Sonic 2006. Before we can start with perhaps Silver's most hated level, there is a cutscene. See you afterwards.
I sense Sonic's presence here. Call it my girlish intuition.
What am I doing?
Sorry. As soon as I find Sonic, I'll help you find who you're looking for, Silver.
This looks so beautiful.
What? You mean this desert?
Everything is so great here, isn't it? The sky is gorgeous and everyone's happy.
Huh?
Let's go. I'll help you find who you're looking for.
Alright, so why is this level so hated by people? Well, the reason is not going to be immediately apparent because it is entirely due to the way how it ends. Before we have that ending sequence, with one minor hint at the issue beforehand, it is actually not that bad. It is pretty linear, so there is not that much exploration, which, you know, is bad for me because I like it. But what we have here presented is actually quite nice. And if you take just the first look at it immediately, it might be obvious, this is an entirely unique stage, at least for now. Shadow is also going to be indoors, but not in the same rooms as Silver is. Goodbye, this doesn't do anything by the way, I'm just playing around. And that means that this is the first level of this type we're actually seeing here. Silver does not go outside in Dusty Desert at all, and this means it's something new. It's great to not have constant repetition, isn't it? And also, I mean, the indoor rooms here look quite nice, I actually really like it. Anyway, this is a hint at the problem of the level. We are having to deal with balls here, and these balls have physics, as you can see, and they're rolling all on their own into these holes, which is exactly what you have to do. So this is now a Magic 8 ball, now it's a Magic 7 ball because we punched it, and the mechanics are understandably, hopefully, and not surprisingly, a little bit wonky here. As long as you do it like I do and put them from the wall into a corner, it should not be that much of an issue. Every time you hit them, the number for each of them decreases at once, which makes no sense, but you know, it's just a dumb puzzle, what can you do? And once all of them are gone, then the door opens. I will show off later what happens if you don't excel at it, because I know exactly what I'm doing, of course, but it's not so bad, right? It's not that big of an issue so far, at the very least. Let's keep going. This is one of the main features of the indoor areas in Dusty Desert. This is also something Shadow will see later on, though with less, you know, floating. And I quite like these rooms actually, where you have a pit to avoid, but the pit is not instant death, which is great because it means it gives you a little bit of a margin for error. Errors, which again I'm going to show off later on because I don't make any here right now. This is my first attempt at recording this stage, by the way, and it just went extremely well, so I've got nothing to complain about that. You have to topple the statue to expose a silver medal, and for some reason the robot corpse, even though it was nowhere near it, caused the statue to crash, so I'll take it. All of my other attempts to throw stuff at the statue didn't quite work out, but anyway, it doesn't really matter, I'll take what I can get. We are now playing as Amy for the first time. Amy is horrible. She is by far the worst character to play at in this game. She is slow, she has absolutely no range on her melee attack, she has one incredibly useless ability, which I'm going to show off real quick here. You have to stand still, otherwise she will just do the hammer, even if you hold the button, it doesn't matter, she will just do the hammer at the end. Being invisible does not make her invincible, and you still have to get extremely close to the enemies, like so, to destroy them. At the very least, this one was a leader enemy for the other one, which makes no sense, but whatever. But this doesn't do anything, it's completely pointless. There is a sequence later on where you play her in White Acropolis, and you can dodge the spotlights, but it's useless. It's just not good. And this is her second ability, which sounds awesome. I mean, a double jump is great, isn't it? But the problem is that this double jump is garbage. The second jump kills your forward momentum. It is stupid. Look at this. Look at this. You only go up with this double jump, the second jump, and then you fall, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. And even her first jump is pretty bad if you do not have the momentum going into it, but that's true for all of the hedgehogs, but she is extremely slow to accelerate, so you're seeing a bit of an issue here. So if your first jump is bad, you can't save it with the second jump, because the second jump is always bad. So what you should do in this and any other sequence with Amy is make sure that your first jump already clears the obstacle as well as it can, and do not ever trust the second jump. So here I'm just not using it because you will just die all the time. It's stupid. Anyway, here I was holding the button all the time to be invincible, but didn't work because I was moving as I pressed the button. So no matter how long I stand still afterwards, she will still do the hammer. So in addition to being completely useless, her ability is also broken, so that's nice, isn't it? And now I don't know where I am, so that's also great. I mean, I do have the shadow, which would seem that it defeats the purpose a little bit, but I'm digressing. It's not that bad. Don't get me wrong, this is not entirely fun to play as Amy here, but what we are presented here, it's a linear corridor where you can hammer some enemies, and there is some fun stuff here, like watch this, awesome, and there is another one later on. It's fine, it plays to her strengths, as few as there are, so design wise it's okay. I don't mind this sequence at all. It's just we can't beat around the bush here. Amy is terrible and there's nothing. T-pose. Sometimes this happens if you interact with a wall and object at the same time. It's just the way it is. But if you had to use her in anything more involved than this, it would just suck. Fortunately, you don't have to do this all that often, but you know, she's being done a little dirty. One other issue here is that the level design is not entirely obvious because we didn't quite see which door actually opened. It's this one, and so I got turned around, and I think that happens to a lot of people. But apart from that, this is just exceedingly linear. This is probably the most interesting room for Amy because it is very vertical and again takes huge advantage of her double jump actually having mad ups. The big problem is that this time there is an actual instant death pit at the bottom of this room, so you don't really want to take advantage of the exploration. You don't want to go to the middle platform, for example. Not that there is anything there, but you might want to check it out. And you might want to spring around and, you know, explore a little bit, but you shouldn't. It's just a bad idea because her second jump is so bad, and trying to get to the middle platform will just get you killed. And this is a bit of the pity with this entire room in general, because there is barely anything in it. And there is going to be another visit in the same room with another extra character that has a much more fun time because of his innate abilities. So yeah, most a pity. Anyway, that's it for Amy. And she's pressing this button, and this is what she had to do, which is apparently opening the door for Silver. Okay, I guess it's fine. It's fine. These platforms here are incredibly mistimed at the moment, which almost got me killed. But fortunately, as we know from Sonic's Dusty Desert, you can just stand on the edge, which is great because otherwise I would have been a little bit mad about it. Anyway, next combat room. This one's a bit annoying because these things take, as we know from Sonic's story, 6 hits to kill. Fortunately, if you pick them up and throw them, they don't take any hits at all and they're immediately dead. The issue being, of course, that your slap is terrible, but on the other hand, they often, if you hit them while they are rolling, and sometimes if they hit something when they're rolling, they are immediately stunned, and if they're stunned, for any reason, you can pick them up. And what was that? Oh, I missed the robot spawning. Oh, obviously. But fortunately, again, they have lost all of their ammunition, so you can't just throw it back at... You know what, once the things on the arms are gone, just slap them and kill them instantly, that's fine. Sometimes things don't work, but Silver, you know. So I tried to destroy all of these statues here, just, you know, one after another, because that's fun, I thought, but sometimes the game doesn't let you have fun. This is the one you have to destroy, because again, it worked, wonderful, there is a silver medal in there, awesome. Wonderful, great, let's keep going. So we are repeating this room concept, but this is a completely different room with completely new challenges, so I'm absolutely fine with that. This time we have these pillars which we have to use Silver's ability to raise up, which is, again, it's perfectly fine. It's a nice twist on the previous room. You want to make sure that the sand wave is not currently on the pillar as you go down on it, so timing here, it's nice. Playing around with it is nice. I don't know why I didn't pick it up, but sometimes that happens. I don't know why I didn't pick that one up, because sometimes that happens. Because, I mean, the first time you didn't see the green aura, so I mistimed the button press. Okay, that's fine. I get that, because sometimes it just doesn't work and you just have to deliberately let go, wait a bit, press it again. But the second time the aura was there and I still didn't pick it up, so yeah, you know, sometimes, this game, sometimes. Anyway, this is also one of these things where when I first played the game I was like, huh, how do I progress? It's just like Silver jumps very high. Again, you tend to forget that, but he can just do that. It's absolutely no problem. It's not as close as some of the other jumps, but still, it took me a little bit because I thought there must be more to it. Am I missing a pad where he can lift stuff? It's no, you just jump, it's fine. Anyway, maybe I can kill this robot instantly with his own projectile. No! Maybe now. No! Oh my god, I hate it so much. This could be so much smoother, but very often it just doesn't quite work. But I don't really mind these combat rooms, you know? It's fine. Even with just the slap. They do play into Silver strengths as well, and then you can do stuff like this and pick them all up at once, and you can play around with them a little bit. Even when I was first playing the game, I didn't mind them. They may be a bit slow to watch right now, and I do have some extra footage where I'm speeding it up for this very reason, because it's not super engaging to watch. But Silver gives you a lot of freedom in how to handle encounters, and once you have a bit of an understanding of his mechanics and stuff like you know, the bombs still dropping after the enemy is dead and being able to explode whenever, then it's not actually that big of a deal to handle it. It's fine. The combat is not that much of an issue in my opinion, at least if the level doesn't entirely consist of combat. We're going to see that. What is an issue is this one here. This is the segment which everybody hates, and for very good reason. You have to put this one ball at the end into one specific hole which is barely marked. It does have the same markings as the holes at the start, so you could argue that they have been tutorialized here, but really it's still quite unintuitive. Every time you hit the ball, the number decreases. Every time the ball hits something too hard, the number decreases. This is the real kicker. If it hits the wall at the end with too much speed, number decreases. And if you take too long, the number decreases. So you want to be quick here, you want to be efficient, but you also don't want to bonk it too hard, and you have to put it into this hole, and almost did it very well. I can't believe how well this worked so far, so this is not that big of a deal. Getting it in now, putting it, it's fine, just tap the button. You have the issue of Silver's attack being extremely low AoE, so you have to get extremely close to the ball to do anything. You have the other issue, which is never communicated. You can charge his slap and send the ball further. If you don't do that, it's absolute torture. You have to get the ball around a bunch of these pits, and it can just slip in due to dumb physics, and it's horrific. It's an absolute nightmare. People spend tens of minutes here not getting the damn ball into the hole at the end, and it keeps falling in and you are despairing. It's awful. It's garbage, and I'm almost sad that I got it first try in my first recording, because now I have to go back and deliberately flub it in an extra recording just to show you how bad it can really be. This extra recording will come at the end, because obviously this went so well that I got all the medals, and the S rank all at once. The S rank is not hard, you just have to do the ball puzzle. See you after the cutscene though.
I can't believe we haven't located Sonic yet. Gee, I wonder where he went.
I've been looking for you. You're the Iblis trigger. Your actions will condemn us all. Who are you? My name is Silver. For the future of the world, I will destroy you!
Welcome back. Before we have some more fun in Dusty Desert with Silver, I want to thank you all for my 1000th subscriber. I can stop harping on about that. Anyway, as I said, I'm going to speed up the combat segments and everything that is basically unchanged from what we've seen before. Maybe you see something interesting here. Of course, every fight is going to be a little bit different, but you probably can also see that on double speed. What I want to show off right now is basically how this can go wrong. Again, if you slap one of the balls once, then all of the numbers decrease at the same time. It is kind of hard to slap them correctly because, again, you might not be close enough. Here we can see what happens if we slap them all down to 1. And also something which I'm not showing off because it takes forever, but if you wait long enough, then the numbers will also decrease on their own. And then if you hit the last one, number 0, then all of the balls go boom and a new set of balls spawn. But this is a small mercy actually. All of the balls that you got in, they stay in. This is just the number that you didn't get in the first time, which is amazingly lenient in my opinion, because the first puzzle is not that hard. It's fine. I don't think that people struggled super duper hard with this one. It's relatively easy to get. The big kicker of course is that you can charge this lap. This is something that's entirely non-intuitive, but this puzzle in my opinion, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. And again, the rest of the level is also not that big of a deal. I like the variety in it. So you have a little bit of combat, you have a little bit of puzzle, you have these rooms which are pure platforming. So generally, as far as silver levels go, apart from it being very linear and not requiring much exploration and also not allowing stuff like this, yeah. So this is, by the way, what happens when you fall down. You don't die, but the wave pushes you all the way back to the end. But yeah, and the spike balls are here to hit you like this. That's basically the idea, and they are haphazardly placed and they let the physics do the job, the level designers that is, which, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But again, the big problem is that it does force you basically to take this one path. There is not much variety here. But the variety is generally in the level design itself. You do a lot of different things in this level, and they are all very well suited to Silver's abilities, and they are arguably also suited to Amy's abilities, as little of them as she has. So if you just go through this at a reasonable pace, it gives you something interesting to do all the time. I don't like waiting for platforms to extend, but the pace is also reasonable here. I think it's fine. And these things die in one hit, so the combat with Amy isn't as... I mean, imagine her having to deal with the 6 health enemies. That would be terrible. But in fact, you don't have to deal with most of these enemies at all, just the ones that prevent you from opening doors. Yeah, and again, why is this door behind you and not in front of you? Because this level is also being traversed by Shadow and his crew. That's basically the main reason. This is the fastest way to go through this room. You just jump down on this side, kill this one enemy and the blocks that are, I don't know, obfuscating the way. Deal with a bit of camera issues here, which, you know, tends to happen sometimes. Almost don't make it because of the double jump, and that's it for Amy here, which again, it's fine, it's not too bad. And then you push the button and we go on to something we have seen before. It's just for orientation. This is actually just another corner of the room we just traversed here, and it's like assumed, which makes almost a little bit sense, that Silver floated over here and was like, oh, there is actually a door in the way, and this is what Amy took care of. It makes no sense why Silver wouldn't be able to, but I mean, there were some high platforms which Amy had to jump up on, so maybe they were prescient and realized that this is exactly what Amy has to do here. You don't have to lift the first platform, it's just a small tiny change in the setup here. I was trying to see what the wall enemies were actually doing, but I don't think that they do much. They're just here to make you go off the platform quicker. You can't stand there all the time because they're going to rain bombs down on you, and this is basically it. Again, I tried to kill the robot with his own projectiles, but targeting said otherwise, which again, it's fine. And here I'm showing off what I've mentioned before, that you just can't pick up the big robots and use them against the other enemies. It would be so fun, but it just doesn't work. What does work is picking up an exploding box and throwing it at the wall enemies to kill a bunch of them at once, so that's nice. Now I'm going to show off how this can go wrong. It's a bit manufactured because obviously I generally know how to do it. But here, for example, I was charging for quite a while, but the ball had rolled out of the AoE and was barely getting pushed. And this is how many people handle this, just like small pushes to make sure that the ball stays on track. And I wanted to push it more from the side, but the ball kept rolling and Silver just isn't fast enough to keep up with the ball most of the time, so the angle was completely wrong. And now I'm down to 2 and you're panicking and you're like, oh my god, and then the angle is wrong because the pillar on the side is in the way, the ball bounces off it in a way you don't want and it falls into the pit and everything is terrible. And then you have to track all the way back with Silver's slow ass and down this corridor and a walk of shame just to see a next ball waiting for you to repeat the entire ordeal again. And again, if you don't know that charging it sends the ball flying further, this is the worst. It is barely doable. But fortunately, I have a small little tip for all of you who are maybe interested in playing this game casually, but were like, I played it before and I couldn't beat this stage, which is completely understandable because it's completely asinine, this part at the end. This is how you do it. You glitch through it, just through the ceiling of the door. It's very, very easy. You position a box as close to the door as possible. Having more boxes at once helps a lot. And then you do a little bit of a speedrun trick. Just directly, vertically upwards, go through the ceiling, go through the next room. Amazing time bonus. Thank you very much for your attention.
Trigger.